I'm quite ignorant when it comes to politics.
No, it's all good.
I don't know nothing about it. So I heard something about fascism, communism. What I hear there?
Yeah, we're just talking about the leader of Hezbollah being killed in an Israeli strike on Beirut.
Where's this at?
This is Beirut. This is Lebanon. This is Lebanon's capital with 2.5 million people living in it. Well, it's probably a larger number now because a lot of the Lebanese population that was in southern Lebanon have had to escape into Beirut because they thought that would be a safe territory for them.
What are they running from?
Israel. Israel's bombing the shit out of everywhere.
Wait, what?
Israel, America's greatest ally, the most important country in the world, the most moral nation, the most moral democracy on the planet, is ruthlessly and mercilessly bombing southern Lebanon, including southern Beirut.
What did Lebanon do?
They just kind of were there. They happen to be Israel's neighbor.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Israel's justifications for it is that Hezbollah, which is one of the parties inside of the Lebanese parliament, which was created as a resistance group against Israel the first time Israel invaded Lebanon and occupied it for years, and then successfully fought back against Israel and removed the Israeli invasion from its territorial boundaries, and then did it again in 2006, is lobbing rockets into Israel in a tit-for-tat
Wait, are you saying
border.
Israel's trying to expand?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Does everyone know this?
Yeah. Everything. You are so misinformed. Yeah, I know. I'm so misinformed. You're right. Yes, Israel's trying to expand, yes.
And our tax dollars are helping them?
Yeah.
Well, I want my money back.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that.
Oh my God. Is this something
the
the average American knows?
District of South Beirut.
The average American that is informed will be informed by mainstream media, and the mainstream media usually will tell them, like, you know, Hezbollah, big bad, they're big bad terrorists, they're scary terrorists, they're Islamist fundamentalists, they're scary, scary, scary. Israel good, Hezbollah bad. Israel has to do this in Lebanon because they have to take care of Hezbollah.
So Lebanon has people. People are called Lebanese, right?
Yeah.
So one of my neighbors growing up was Lebanese, and he had a daughter who was 1 year younger than me. She was really hot.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Don't know what that has to do with anything, but all right.
Wait, I wonder if she's single now.
A sprawling suburb hollowed out by Israeli
bombs. Austin is Lebanese.
Really?
Yeah. Half.
That makes
bombs
sense.
And fear.
Because he's hot too.
A suburb still burning.
There is an intense heat coming from the basement of that building. The sky is dense with the smoke. It smells acrid. The scale of destruction around here is vast. Not just at this site, but everywhere you drive around De Gea, there are signs of these airstrikes. And just a moment ago, we heard Israeli planes in the sky. There is a tense feeling now that as bad as all this is, yet more could be coming.
Fresh fire from the sky did soon fall.
Nothing.
But they brought me tremors.
In case like debris falls on his head?
Yeah.
Are they bombing civilians?
Yes. Like a shit ton. Yeah. Like, yeah. Fuck yeah. Of course. Who do you think lives there? These are just residential buildings. Yeah, there's babies in those buildings. There's mothers in those buildings. There's elderly people in those buildings, and they fucking destroyed them and killed like 300 of them. It's overwhelming majority civilians. Like,
are they trying to intentionally hit civilians?
I think their goal is to cause as much chaos as possible, like they did in Gaza, where they don't like. Their goal is to just like destroy the normal existence of people there to make it unlivable.
Isn't that kind of the definition of terrorism?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And they are doing that. They are doing terrorism for sure.
Oh my God.
Compared to the seismic eruptions that leveled large parts of De Gea last night.
The city looks beautiful.
An overwhelming use of force.
It's a beautiful city. Like Lebanon is a beautiful country. Beirut is a beautiful city. Like it is a very modern city. Like it's a city.
I see a shopping center right there in the bottom left.
It just looks like fucking, it's no different than like Paris, you know what I mean, or Chicago or some shit. It's just like a city.
Breaking Hezbollah's command and control center and decapitating an entire movement. Sheikh Hasan
They claim, Israel claims that there are cruise missile launchers hidden under every building, and that grandma is hiding those cruise missile launchers under her, bed, and that's why they have to hit those targets. And they use our weapons to hit those targets. They don't have those bombs, so we give them billions of dollars. I believe, I don't know what the sum total is, but since 1948, the inception of the state of Israel, when it first became a nation state by doing pretty much this kind of stuff from the jump, we have given $250 billion total. And the Biden administration greatly accelerated it post October 7 in terms of tens of billions of more that we have given to the state of Israel to continue bombing all of these countries.
I don't want to sound like an idiot here, but why are we doing that?
How do I explain it?
Like, why would we help them do this? I don't understand.
Israel is, God, how do I describe it? It's like, I have to describe to you what settler colonialism is, where you send a bunch of people to an area with the specific purpose of colonizing that area. That's kind of how America was founded as well. We are a settler colonial nation. We've sent a bunch of people here, and then those people came in and fucking killed every single indigenous person. And then we occupied more and more land.
That's what Thanksgiving's about, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so Israel's doing that since 1948. Originally, it started under the British Empire when England or British Empire took over Palestine, the area that is called historic Palestine. And they didn't really like Jewish people a lot. This is pre-World War II.
Who didn't?
Most people in Europe did not. They were very anti-Semitic. And so they were like, oh, we don't really like Jews that much. We should just send them somewhere. Where can we send them? A lot of the Christian Zionists predate almost Zionism being like a Jewish movement. There was a guy named Balfour, Lord Balfour, who made a declaration. Basically was like, we should ship all of the Jews here in England to the desert instead, to historic to mandatory Palestine. And that's basically how it started in the early 1900s.
One guy did this?
Post World War I.
Okay.
After they took over Palestine from the Ottoman Empire.
When you say Jews, you mean Jewish people?
Yeah.
So this is a religion.
Well, Judaism is not just a religion; it's an ethno-religion.
What's that?
There are different. It is also an ethnicity as well as both.
Okay.
So you can be a Jewish person. It's matrilineal. If your mother is Jewish, you're technically still Jewish, but you don't have to be a practicing Jew.
Okay.
And there are different kinds of Jewish ethnicities under the umbrella of Judaism. You have Sephardic Jews, you have Mizrahi Jews, you have, and it depends on what region they're coming from originally or what region they lived in historically.
This is crazy. This is, okay. I did not know this.
But ultimately, the one guy who was like, I don't think we should ship the Jews into the fucking desert in England was actually a Jewish guy.
Okay.
Who was like, no, we shouldn't do this. This doesn't seem like a great idea. But this is a very long and convoluted history. I want to bring it back to some of the questions you had today.
Yeah.
Right? What was the last question that you had when I went all the way back to fucking Lord Balfour?
I forgot. But I feel like, can you ship people?
They did, yeah.
How does that work?
Especially accelerated after World War II as well.
Was it they put them in like they did with the slaves? They put them in the boats.
No.
Down there,
a lot of people voluntarily went as well. Especially after World War II. Originally, Zionism amongst the Jewish population was looked at in a very negative way. Zionism is the ideology behind the development of the nation state of Israel being a Jewish ethno state, a state for Jews only for the most part, or a state where Jews have all of the rights and that non-Jews also can coexist, but don't have the same set of rights.
That sounds kind of racist, brother.
It is racist. That is precisely why I say, and many academics consider Zionism to be a fascist ideology, because it is. In the more in a nicer way to put it, if you want to put it in a nicer way, you can say like, oh, it's a way for Jews to have self-determination and sovereignty.
So can we as the black delegation claim Michigan and kick everyone else out?
I think people have tried that. It didn't work out.
Why?
You know, not for Michigan specifically, but
Okay.
well, America is like Zionism, but for white people.
Okay.
But whiteness also is not as like hard-lined and as defined as like as Judaism is as an ethno-religion. So whiteness can expand usually. We also did it in Liberia too, but that's besides the point. I don't want to get into that.
Got it.
But
This is all crazy. Like this.
let me
whole thing,
let me explain the
Yeah.
let me explain the process.
Why
behind
are
this.
we giving them money? I don't understand. Like,
Okay, so the region is a resource-rich region. Okay?
Resource-
There's a
rich
lot
of
of
what?
oil. We care about oil.
Still?
Everything runs on oil. Of course, everything runs on oil.
what about Tesla?
So that's really important. And there's also a very important trade route there. Okay,
yeah.
here I'll show you a map.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is a trade map. Okay. These are some trade routes. Okay. One of these trade routes, especially if you want to cut directly in from like Asian countries,
Mhm.
if you want to cut directly in to Europe,
Yeah.
is
I
you
see
have to
Italy.
go through this area. Okay. This area that's known as the Red Sea. There's a lot of countries around there that might have a different perspective than the United States of America. So we packed them all up and we made sure that they had either puppet states that were in control of that entire trade route, or at the very least, at the tippy top of that, you have the Suez Canal. Okay, this is the easiest to secure part of this trade route. It's the final part of this trade route. On the one side, you have Egypt. On the other side, you have Israel. Okay. America needed, and England before it, needed some way to make sure that they have full and complete control over this, over the Suez Canal, to ensure that like countries there don't turn around and go, hey, we're shutting this off. Actually, you really pissed us off, America. I don't like that. We're going to shut the Suez Canal off. Okay. Technically, it's Egypt on both sides, but yes, Israel being there is what is significant.
Okay. I understand we need the trade route, but why can't we do what we did in the past instead of giving them weapons? Just destroy them.
What do you mean?
Like we went and took oil from other places. Why would we let these small people
Because-
tell us what to do?
Because no matter how powerful of a country you are, America is kind of doing that already in the region, but like it's still unstable. Why is it unstable? Because Egypt is a massive country. Egypt needs billions and billions of dollars of money from America. That's why it's a client state.
Wait, who does? Who needs that?
Egypt.
Why?
Because they could not exist in the way that they do without America consistently pumping it full of money. However, the Egyptian governance is shaky. Why is it shaky? Because there's a lot of fucking people there that might go, hey man, I kind of don't like what you're doing. I'm going to do a coup. And that has happened in the past in Egypt's history. As a matter of fact, during the Cold War, if we're going to go all the way back there was a lot of allegiances with the other major power in the world, the USSR,
Yeah,
Russia.
But they
Russia.
suck. They can't even beat Ukraine.
Okay, well, that's new Russia. That's an entirely different story. But
We have
during
no one
the
to
Cold
fear
War,
anymore.
we were afraid that like
Okay.
Egypt might, align with the Soviets. A
Oh.
lot of the pan-Arabic nationalist movements that were forming when countries were being formed, nation states as we understand it were being formed, were like, hey, we'll take our allegiances from whoever the fuck wants to support us. If it's not going to be America, maybe we kind of like socialism a little bit. Maybe we want some money and some weapons from the USSR. America did not like that. They were like, no, you could not work with those guys. America defeated the USSR and destroyed and dissolved the USSR. And in the aftermath, they were the only big game in town for many, many years until China came in. But even China is not doing that as much right now. But basically what is going on is these countries are completely captured by American interest, by American money. America gives, weapons to these countries so they can fund their militaries, and you can use that military to suppress your population if they try to do an uprising, things
I
of that
get it.
nature. We do tons and tons of information sharing, surveillance, all this stuff, right? So basically, at the heart of the matter is America wanting a ride or die, right? And what is a bigger ride or die than a country that is currently being run by a guy who grew up in Philadelphia? His name is Benjamin Netanyahu, also known as Benjamin Netai. I believe he has some other names as well. May or may not have been an intelligence asset at the time for the United States of America and also Mossad, which is the Israeli intelligence.
What do you mean he grew up in Philadelphia?
He just grew up in Philadelphia.
And he's the leader of
and he
a
is
different-
yes, and he's the longest running. I think at this point, leader of Israel. Yes, the current prime minister.
How is
So-
that possible?
How is that possible?
Don't you?
He just fucking grew up in Philadelphia. What do you mean?
Okay.
Anyway, so he also went to MIT. So here's the thing. All of this makes a lot more sense if you look at Israel as not just like Egypt, a client state, a vassal state, but instead just as an American state, the 51st state, right?
Are you saying that they're attacking other countries because we want them to?
Yes. So
Shut
here's how
up.
this works. Israel is basically another state of the United States of America. That's the way to analyze it. We say it's sovereign, but it's not really sovereign, okay? It's completely motivated and controlled, and there's like, obviously they have their own territorial ambitions and whatnot, but like ultimately America is the big dog in here in the party, okay? It doesn't seem like it right now because Biden is a fucking idiot and very, very, very much invested in Israel's ultra-Zionist project, but Israel is basically the 51st state of the United States of America. And not only is it a state, I like to say it is one of the most important states. Like, it's not like North Dakota. You know what I mean? We could get rid of North Dakota. Who fucking cares? You know, United Dakotas, who gives a shit? No one will think about that ever again. But Israel is significantly more important. That's why it gets more money than other American states. So
Jesus.
that's it. Israel basically is an American state,
But
in a
Okay.
resource-rich region that has its own espionage facilities. So there's like plausible deniability when they do stuff. You're like, oh, that's a different state. Well, that's not us. Come on, guys. It has its own unsinkable aircraft carrier, basically, in the region that we're constantly giving them all the newest weapons and newest toys that we develop in the United States of America. And our tax money completely funds and props up the Israeli state. And that is precisely the reason why in the American stock market, there are more Israeli companies than there are Indian companies and like 3 or 4 other nations combined. So our partnership with Israel is like this, okay?
So who's like making these calls? Because you know it's Biden can't even think. So like who's making these calls? Like who's in charge? Like who's running the show here?
I think a lot of the people that Biden has surrounded himself with are all on board with the interest of Israel. They're like, yeah, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep pummeling, but I think it's okay because, you know, they're the good guys and everyone else is the bad guy.
I don't see how this is like for the average American. Why is this good for us if Israel's pummeling this area?
How do I explain it? So in the simplest terms, it's not.
Okay.
It's not beneficial. It's not beneficial even a little bit. But I guess the American government does a lot of stuff that's not inherently or immediately beneficial to the American interest, but we do it anyway. Why did we go to Iraq? Why did we invade Iraq? Was that beneficial?
Was that George Bush?
Yeah. Well,
Jr.,
Cheney,
right?
Dick Cheney and him, yeah.
Well, didn't okay.
Dick Cheney was his vice president. So there's a couple different reasons why it's beneficial for some American interests. One, we get to take oil and control oil and extract oil with Western corporations. We parse through their natural resources as we usually do in many parts of the global South. But beyond that, there's also an industry that matters perhaps the most in the United States of America. Broadly defined, the military-industrial complex.
Okay.
And basically, the military-industrial complex is very important to us because it is our manufacturing. It is at the heart of our manufacturing. It's the one kind of manufacturing that has not moved overseas when a lot of our other manufacturing has moved overseas.
So making weapons.
So making weapons is very important for us. Doing R&D for weapons is very important for us. Taxpayers fund the weapons research. Taxpayers fund the wages. Taxpayers create the factories so that we can make more weapons. And then when we have weapons, we got to use those weapons, right? Obviously, you got to go somewhere. You can't just like have them sitting in a fucking arsenal somewhere going to waste.
Are you telling me this is all about money?
Yes, of course.
But don't we have more than everyone already?
But how do we get here?
I mean, are we good?
And also, who has the money is also important, because
that's what I'm asking you.
Because the reality is, we like to talk about the GDP, right? Or we like to talk about like our overall output and how much money we have as America. But what good is all of that money out there as, you know, numbers on a board if the average American can't actually heal itself? The average American can't go to the fucking doctor without, you know, going into medical bankruptcy. Does that money matter all that much? Like, it's great. We're one of the richest nations. We are the richest nation on the planet, richest nation in history. And yet we can't take care of our own citizens. We have tens of thousands of homeless people on the streets. We have people who need health care. We have no mechanism of competing with the rest of the world in terms of like our education. Our education is also paywalled for no fucking reason when other countries don't do that at all, because they understand it's probably better to educate as many people as possible. They have to be
doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's short term. It's an endless death spiral caused by short term profit seeking.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, we're all fucked up, huh?
Yes, and that's definitely.
I thought my problems were problems, like being single and alone, but
so
not really that big of a deal compared to this shit.
So yeah, basically, the short and sweet of it is that Israel must exist. Israel must exist in the ways that it does as an American vestige of empire in a resource-rich region that is at any moment can immediately take control over a key trade route here. So, okay, because if it doesn't, then you know they're cooked. And what has actually happened in post October 7, when Israel started relentlessly bombing Gaza, a territory that is basically an open air prison that it currently and pre October 7 occupied, restricting trade, refusing to allow them to build water wells, build fucking airports, build a port for their ships.
Yeah. Can they turn off like the power in the water?
Yes, and they did. They did.
That is not a fair fight.
Defense Minister Yoav Gallant,
what the fuck?
In the immediate aftermath of October 7, came out and openly stated, the Defense Minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, who is a war criminal, and that's not just me, that's the international court, the ICC, International Criminal Court, is also has decided that he is very likely a war criminal. There's a warrant. There's an application for a warrant out for his arrest for war crimes. Now, Yoav Gallant said in early, in the early month of October, that Israel was fighting against animals, and that because they're fighting against animals, they have to turn off their water, their electricity, and their food.
That's what fucked up.
And they did do that. And then people were like, hey, you can't do that. That's a war crime.
And you did anyways?
And then they basically, like, slowly but surely just changed the faucet a little bit. But yeah, here it is. This is fifth day of heavy fighting between Israel and Hamas today as the death toll soar. More than 1,200 Israelis and 1,100 Palestinians are now dead. This was early October, October 11. Gaza cut off from food, water, and fuel as Israel's punishing bombardment continues.
Man, this is tragic. Has anyone talked about a solution? Is there even one?
There is, dissolving the apartheid, but that's not what I was going to talk about. The reason why I brought all this up was because the Houthis in Yemen, after a rigorous bombing campaign that Saudi Arabia, another one of our very important allies, not as important as Israel, but still very important ally in the region, alongside the UAE right here, was bombing the shit out of this country called Yemen. This country also has, different sects of Islam, like different religious sects that operate within its boundaries. And there was always some infighting. And there was a group of guys that called themselves Houthis. They are of a similar sect of Shia Muslims that are backed basically by Iran. They take control. They take control of the country in the during this genocide that is occurring in Yemen. Genocide backed by, again, American bombs that Saudi Arabia is doing. There's a full-blown blockade. People can't get food. They're bombing fucking school buses and shit with American bombs. Again, we're giving Saudi Arabia bombs so they can do this, and the UAE as well. And there's different groups that they're backing. There's always like a guy that you have that you're like, oh, well, this is my guy. This guy should be in charge, actually. But then everyone's like, well, we fucking hate that guy. They might not even like the Houthis themselves, but they're like, but we don't like this guy either, right? And everyone is trying to take advantage of that situation. All these other regional actors are trying to take advantage of that situation. Houthis basically come out as the victors from that, okay? And they set up a new coalition called the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen. And what they immediately start doing is they start saying, oh, Israel, you're going to fucking blow up Palestinians? Well, guess what? We're going to blow you up. And you're like, what do you mean? You guys just fucking overcame a genocide. What the fuck do you mean you're going to blow it up? I didn't even think that the Houthis had that smoke. Okay. I didn't think that the Ansar Allah movement was going to do that shit. Okay. I thought all they did was basically, walk around with like blades in their fucking belts and look cool. Okay. And make musicals. They make a lot of musicals. I can show you some of them in a second.
Oh, okay.
Well, it turns out they do more than that, because they do also get like a lot of weapons from Iran, which is a much larger regional actor as well. Outside of the musicals, they also literally have an insane arsenal that they are not afraid of using against anyone and everyone. So they go, guess what? Hey, you like the Suez Canal? You like the fucking Strait? You like the Red Sea right here? You like that trade route? It's gone. How are they going to do that? America does it all the time. How are the Houthis going to do that? Well, they go, listen, you want to fucking bring a ship through here? We're going to take it. So that's exactly what the Houthis start doing. They start fucking sending in helicopters onto fucking ships and taking over the ships
like
and
Rust.
going, it's our ship. Yes, exactly like Rust. Wait, we got to have that.
They're doing cargo.
We have to, here it is.
This is Rust.
Bro, they fucking look at this. They got the Palestinian flag that they painted under the helicopter with the Yemen flag. They fucking overtake. They start overtaking the ships, and they're like, "Guess what, dog? No more trade to Israel. If you're an Israeli, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, or if you are actually sending ships to the Israeli port of it's not Eilat, it's the other one that is now bankrupt, but." What was the other port? Haifa, right? Is it Haifa? Is Haifa the bankrupt one? Anyway, there's a lot of information. I can't recall all of it. But they go, if you are sending ships into Israel, if you are owned by an Israeli subsidiary, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, we're going to take over your ship. You cannot fucking use this trade route anymore. Guess what, bitch? It's our fucking territorial boundary, and we're going to enforce this until you stop doing genocide in Gaza. Because they say it. They're like, listen, we don't like you. We're not a fan of you. Okay.
So this is like a third party.
This is a group of people that are like, no, we care about the Palestinians. We don't want you bombing them. So we're going to fucking take action, and we're going to try to punish you economically to the best of our ability. And by God, they started doing that, and they were doing it real well. So they started taking over these ships. They started targeting the ships. If you pass through, they communicate with you. They're like, hey, where are you going? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you're trying to get in there, we're going to fucking bomb you.
Are there people on this helicopter right now?
Yes. What do you mean? Of course there are people on this helicopter. What do you think? It's a fucking drone?
Kind of, from this angle.
No, there are people on this helicopter.
So this is like a hostile. They're streaming this?
Yeah. They're flexing.
What? And they're coming in hot with guns.
Yeah, but you have to understand, this is a deterrence, right? So like their goal is to film it and show it to the world. So like other companies that don't want to risk having this happen to their product, having this happen to their ships, literally are like, okay, we're not going to use the trade route anymore. All of a sudden, if you don't use the trade route, trade gets more expensive for the West. All of a sudden, if you can't use that trade route, the Israeli port is going to get bankrupt. Israel is not going to be able to get the materials in time that they need for waging their war. Israeli society is going to start getting upset. They're going to be like, I can't get my treats. I can't get my Amazon Prime deliveries. What the fuck is going on? I hate this. Israel sucks. I'm leaving Israel. That's the goal. The goal is to be like, yeah, your shit sucks. Okay, well then stop, doing genocide in Gaza. And
This is wild.
so these guys did all of this, right? They did all of this.
Is that their helicopter?
Yeah,
That looks like a legit helicopter.
it is a legit helicopter.
This is wild.
Yeah. So new IRL streaming idea for Extra Emily. Yeah. So they take it over. They take it over. They take it over. And they tell the people in the ship, usually like mostly Filipino people, Filipino crews.
Oh.
And they're like, all right, well, we got no problems with you, but you're coming with us. We're taking over the ship. So they did that. And basically they shut down the fucking strait. Like they almost completely shut it down, with exceptions. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're like a Russian ship or some shit, if you're not going to Israel, then they let it go through. But America did not like that. America was like, we're the big bad. You're not the big bad. Who the fuck are you, bitch? We were helping Saudi Arabia do genocide to you like not that long ago. You better back down. So America started launching their fucking cruisers. Okay? They started sending their big old ships. And at the time, a lot of people celebrated it. They were like, oh, the Houthis are going to learn today why, like, we don't have healthcare. And they were flexing. They were flexing that we don't have healthcare because we need to because we are the dominant force globally. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, why the fuck do you care about being the dominant force globally when you don't have healthcare? You're a fucking idiot. You're a loser. Anyway, so basically, they started this operation called Prosperity Guardian, which one of my friends calls Operation Amazon Prime Shipping. But
Okay.
basically what ended up happening with Prosperity Guardian is they started bombing these Yemeni positions. They were like, we're going to fucking mercilessly bomb you. Oh, yeah? You think you can fucking...
Wait, who's bombing who?
America and also
Wait,
England.
Are we allowed to do
England, America. We can do whatever the fuck we want,
Don't
big
we have
dog.
to like declare war or something before we... No? Are we just throwing bombs for fun? What? I don't know. I thought we were supposed to do stuff like that.
Yeah, no. That's a cute question. No, we do whatever the fuck we want. Okay.
Well, not we. It's them in charge.
Yeah, America gets to do whatever the fuck it wants. So
Oh, no.
basically, Operation Prosperity Guardian starts. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
United States-led military operation by a multinational coalition formed in December 2023 to respond to the Houthi-led attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. Okay. Here are the belligerents. The United States Navy, the Royal Navy, the Royal Australian Navy, the Royal Bahrain Naval Force, the Royal Canadian Navy, the Royal Danish Navy, the Finnish Navy. One of my favorite was the Seychelles Coast Guard that also were like, we'll take some of that piece. We'll take a piece of that action. Anyway, ultimately, this coalition of royal navies and forces got together and they were pummeling Yemen. They were blowing up Yemeni positions where they have rockets or whatever, right? But to the Yemeni people, they were like, dog, death is all we know. We just overcame a genocide. You think this is going to fucking stop us? I'm going to make more musicals now. So they did. And they started bombing American military ships, Navy ships. They even recently, and this was like kind of reported. I'm not entirely sure, but I think they might have even targeted the naval vessel for refueling the other naval ships in the region. They had to literally tow that away. But
They're not afraid.
basically, and I'm going to show you this. Here are the Houthis hammering 3 U.S. warships with 23 ballistic missiles and drones from the Red Sea after the Tel Aviv attack. And I'm going to run the 3-minute ad break right now, and I'm also going to pee real quickly. Okay? I'll be back in a second. You watch this.
Okay. So this is going on like right now. Is it embarrassing to say that I had no idea this was happening? Like no one told me this. Like no one told me this was going on. This is kind of scary. Oh my God. I assume people are getting hurt when all this is happening. Are those AKs? Live hand stream thing. I like coming over here because I learned so much about things I don't know. Like, I'll never take time at home to learn about this sort of stuff. Every time I see some of these missiles getting shot, it just seems like that money could have been put somewhere else, somewhere better for anybody. All this seems like a waste of money and life, you know?
So,
On both
anyway, the
sides.
reason why I brought all this up
Yeah.
is because you're right. It is a huge waste of money.
Yeah.
And it's especially a huge waste of money because the Ansar Allah movement, the Houthis in Yemen, said, hey, there's an alternative out there where we don't have to do this fucking, you know, blowing up ships shit. Right?
Who said this?
What is this? Oh, this is, hold on. There is an alternative out there where we don't have to wage war like this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a beautiful, prosperous alternative. It's called Israel Stop Doing Genocide in Gaza.
Right.
So they said it. They were very clear. They're like, we'll stop. We don't give a shit. It's not like we love blowing up the ships. Just stop doing genocide in Gaza. But Israel was like, no, we have to keep doing genocide in Gaza. So America was like, of course, Israel is our ally. We have to do everything we can to bring them to heel.
Is it
Okay?
really that black and white?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm simplifying a little bit, but
Oh,
here,
yeah, I've seen
have
this.
you've seen this.
Yeah. Oh, that's so loud.
But
Yeah.
one thing you also have to remember is, where is that money going? Now, the missiles are going in the direction sometimes of like Yemeni positions, okay? But where is that money coming from? Well, that money is taxpayer funded. Taxpayers paid for the people's wages in factories to build those fucking munitions. And then the American military purchases those munitions, giving that money back to the corporations. And basically, it's this never-ending cycle. But when you got it, you got to use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And by that, I mean you lose the budget. So you always have to keep, you always have to keep using the endless amounts of funds,
You know what's
the
funny?
ever-expansive funds. So
Yeah.
at the end of it all, okay, Operation Prosperity Guardian.
Yeah.
Was it a success? We are the most powerful navy on the planet. I mean,
Currently.
look at this. Look at all these people. Look at all these places. Look at everything that's going on. It was a whopping failure. It was a massive failure. The Houthis were determined. They were not able to stop the fucking bombing campaigns. And America, in the process, spent billions of dollars and attacked and never stopped attacking Houthi positions over and over and over again.
Mm.
Okay? And at the end of it, they said, we're throwing up the flag. We can't deal with this. It's
So
done.
is it still going on in the trade route? Are they still going after ships?
Here is a very funny moment where, here, let's listen. So someone asked Biden, are
Yeah.
the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
At least he's honest.
Yeah. And that's precisely what happened. And basically, it was a spectacular failure with American media openly admitting its failure. Here is, let's see what the total cost was at the end of it. Operation Prosperity Guardian failure. Here is from Jeffrey Wells. I mean, he's like a think tank guy. Operation Prosperity Guardian, a colossal blunder demanding an unyielding response. This was from August. Okay. They wanted to annihilate the Houthi infrastructure. They wanted to end the floundering. This guy is like advocating to go all in, I think. A naval disaster, fix it now. Ultimate goal, neutralize and deter. Call to arms, no half measures. Okay, where is the actual cost? I need to see it. Not the fucking Navy equipment cost. I need to see the total dollars spent on this operation. Tell Nick about the aid pier cost. Oh, God, that was even crazier. But for that, I need to describe to him like the rules of waging war and what you have as a nation state, like the obligations you have to the civilian population. You have to allow humanitarian aid to flow into the areas that you're bombing so that the civilians don't get fucking killed. And Israel, being the belligerent occupier, already is illegally occupying Gaza and has no right under international law to be able to bomb Gaza in an effort to defend itself. That's like literally illegal for them, but it doesn't matter because Israel's America and America is Israel. And, these rules of war are not for us. It's for our enemies.
Oh, my God.
And in this process, because this was such a glaringly obvious violation of humanitarian law, a lot of these NGOs, non-government organizations, aid organizations go, hold on. You can't stop the flow of humanitarian aid into a civilian population. That's a war crime. It kind of seems like you're trying to genocide these people, Israel. So America goes, we got it. We will fix this problem. Now, did they actually want to give humanitarian aid to the Palestinians? Fuck no, they don't give a shit, right?
Is that when they dropped the packages?
That was part of it.
I
Yes,
saw that.
that was part of it.
Didn't the package hit somebody and kill them?
Yes, it did. The other part of it was, let's build a pier. And on May 17th of 2024, this $230 million U.S. Gaza aid pier opens. There it is, that pier. It doesn't look like that anymore. Spoiler alert, the pier is gone. Because in May 25th, it's damaged. June 7th, it's reconnected. UN pauses distribution on June 9th because Israeli forces killed 274 Palestinians and operate a helicopter in the vicinity of the pier, leading people into believing that maybe the pier is actually being used for military purpose. You can't do that for humanitarian aid. This is not a dual-use utility. This is a single-use utility. It's supposed to be for humanitarian aid being delivered. Also, the question on everyone's minds at the time was, why do you need a pier? You have direct open routes from Israel into Gaza that Israel controls. Why can't you send the trucks in? Why not?
Why not?
Because Israel was not interested in that. They wanted to limit the amount of fucking food that was going in because they wanted to cause chaos amongst the civilian population.
Why is this beer so expensive? It looks like shit.
It's expensive because everything that the American government contracts out to private parties or everything that the American Defense Department pays for is expensive. It's all inflated. It's all bloated.
This thing looks like you can get a guy from Alabama to make it in about 2 weeks.
Anyway, but the real reason why America did this is because we wanted to defend Israel from the PR front. See, Israel is letting us build an aid for build a pier for humanitarian aid to go in. If they were the big bad, if they were in violation of human rights, and if they were doing a war crime and not allowing humanitarian aid to flow into the civilian population in Gaza, they wouldn't have let us build this pier. But the pier never actually served that purpose. The purpose of it was to do PR, and it even failed on the PR front because the pier failed multiple times. June 14th, pier is removed. June 19th, pier is reconnected. June 28th, pier removed again. June 9th, announced it is briefly reinstalled, but it failed. And on July 17th, the pier officially closed. This was a $200 million process in which defense contractors made some money, right? We paid a lot of people to build the pier. We paid the people to ship the pier over there, all the parts and whatnot. But ultimately, it was a $230 million marketing initiative to make it seem like Israel wasn't doing a genocide when it actually was. Why is this important? Because we fund most of Israel, but especially its military.
Right.
We are responsible for 70% of the munitions that Israel gets. We keep giving them more and more weapons, both on the defensive side for the Iron Dome, the Arrow 1, all the way to Arrow 3, David Sling defense systems that they have. It's not a real dome. It's just like Tamir interceptor missiles that we fire. Okay. It's very cool tech.
Yeah, I know.
We also were responsible for building it, but we don't give it to anybody else other than Israel because Israel's the best. And Israel refused to let Ukraine have it because Israel's the best. Anyway, at the time when Russia was invading Ukraine, Ukraine was like, hold on, I'm Jewish. That's what Zelensky said. I love Israel. Am Israel Chai. Can I please get the Iron Dome? Benjamin Netanyahu said, no, you cannot get the Iron Dome.
Is it up to him?
Fuck you. everything's up to Benjamin Netanyahu. He can do whatever he wants. Anyway,
Oh my
you're
God.
forgetting.
Yeah.
Israel's the best. It's the most moral
Okay.
nation. It's the only democracy in the world.
51st state.
Yes. Okay.
So we love
Better than
Israel.
America. Am Israel high. Okay. So, but why is it important that it has to seem like Israel is not directly stopping humanitarian aid from going in? Because we are a nation of rules and laws. And one of those laws is a law called the Leahy Law. This law indicates that it is illegal for the United States of America to continue giving weapons to an ally if that ally is in violation of human rights.
Oh.
And this is a clear-cut definitional violation of human rights.
It's a Jim Leahy law.
So here is the problem.
Yeah.
If they're directly violating that law, then we're doing something that's illegal in our own books. We can't do that. So what did the American State Department do?
Change the law. I don't know.
No, they didn't change the law. They basically just said, oh, no, they're not doing that. They're not violating the law. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Now, recently,
Okay.
ProPublica, phenomenal investigative reporters, found a memo from USAID, U.S. Department of Aid. Okay? It's another wing of the CIA. It's another wing of the State Department. And basically, this memo showed, and this memo was sent, it's a 17-page memo that was sent to Antony Blinken, that Israel was deliberately blocking humanitarian aid to Gaza. Two government bodies concluded this in their report. And Antony Blinken, you're so biased, it's disgusting. I know, I'm so biased. Like,
I mean, the thing
I'm
is-
so biased because I'm not lying. Like, that's what it is.
How can
Okay,
you be
you want me to
biased,
just
like-
lie, I think.
Either it happened or it didn't. All right. So how's it biased?
Exactly. These
Like,
people,
did this happen or not?
these
Like,
people
there's no bias here.
they never have a counter. They just go, you're biased, you're anti-Semitic, move on, okay? Antony Blinken said, fuck this memo.
Who's Anthony Blinken?
Antony Blinken is the head of the State Department.
Oh,
So, Secretary of State.
got it.
He's in charge of like everything. Okay. He's in charge of like all of our, he's one of the most significant, most consequential aspects of America's foreign policy.
Did he get elected or appointed?
Appointed. He is a demon. Anyway, so there's documented evidence, but I'm biased for saying that there is documented evidence. Anyway, so the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, okay, delivered his assessment to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and the State Department's Refugees Bureau made its own stance known to top diplomats in late April. But Antony Blinken was just like, nah, it's fine. It's not happening, and refused. And then further lied to Congress officially in like official meetings that he had with Congress, consistently and repeatedly lied to them and said, Israel's not violating human rights, and Israel's not stopping the delivery of humanitarian aid. The problem is, Israel was doing that in such a glaringly obvious way that we didn't need this fucking memo to know that. We already did know that because every other fucking human rights group on the ground was saying Israel is doing that. Not only were they stopping the flow of humanitarian aid into the area, they were letting metric tons of flour just sit there and perish.
Oh,
Like they were just like, there was aid. It's right there. It's inside of the territorial boundaries of Israel. They're just letting it perish because they're like, fuck you. We don't want you to have it. We want you to die. We want you to basically live in chaos, in destruction.
this is crazy.
So he lied to Congress to continue supporting our endless bloodlust in Israel, to continue giving Israel weapons. When you say he's a demon, do you mean because he shreds or because of violating international law and helping fund a genocide? Okay, a bit of both. Good question, chatter. Anthony Blinken is also known
is
for
that him?
shredding. That's him right there, baby.
World will know what it's all about. You know
This is a
I'm
joke,
here.
right?
Everybody knows I'm here.
No, I'm him. Who? The devil? Is that what he's singing about?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple different tasteful moments, such as this one. So Israel wasn't just fucking denying humanitarian aid from entering Gaza. Israel also was killing humanitarian aid workers at a rapid clip. They just kept killing humanitarian aid workers. And there was a very famous moment called the Flower Massacre, where Israel allows some trucks to go in, and then they shot at the trucks, causing chaos. And then the trucks like ran over people. They shot at a lot of the people that were trying to get the fucking aid from these trucks. Then Gaza, like the Gazan officials, said, okay, we have a police force. What the fuck are we doing? We might as well use the police force, whatever remains of the Gazan police force in terms of civil governance. So the Gazan police chief was like, we are going to do a single file line. We're not going to let chaos happen when we are trying to get aid out. We're going to do this responsibly. So they brought forward the internal, civil police force in the region to deliver the aid to everyone. And they were in a single file line. People were receiving aid all of a sudden. The next day, Israel killed the fucking police chief. Literally the next day, and then said he was a Hamas terrorist. This is just one of the forgotten aspects of Israel's bloody campaign over the course of the past 12 months. It's just one. I'm just giving you like a Sunday. You know what I mean? Just one. It's not even, this doesn't even hit the top of the line in terms of like the ruthless efficiency in which they have slaughtered everyone. And also on top of that, have mercilessly destroyed all the buildings and made it uninhabitable. Gaza.
Is it just rubble now?
Yes.
I mean, how many people are left, man?
There are millions of people displaced. The total number of people that was living there is like 2.5 million. There are 42,000 people that they confirmed killed directly with rockets and directly with like shooting them and killing them. The Palestinian Health Ministry calculates the direct Israeli kills separately. The number that you hear is usually around 42,000. The number of death and the number of casualties is so much higher than that. They've maimed so many people. They've blown people's arms off, blown people's eyes off, all this stuff, right? So basically, that number is actually very small in comparison to the much, much larger death number because, for example, Dropsite News actually interviewed my friends over at Dropsite News actually interviewed, I think, like the chief medical, like the chief of the health bureau, whatever remains in Gaza. Mm-hmm. And they were saying that like the actual death toll is significantly larger because there's so many people dying of, there are people dying of starvation, of course. There's famine in North Gaza. But beyond that, there's a lot of people that like have cancer, for example. They can't get their cancer treatment. Why? Because Israel is occupying the only fucking cancer ward that remains in Gaza. Israeli military is using that as a fucking battleground. So they can't get fucking cancer treatment. So they die of cancer, but that doesn't even log in as like a direct casualty of Israel's bombing campaigns. If you want to see what the before and after looks like, here is, this is, by the way, this article is more than 10 months old at this point. Holy shit. It's even worse than that. This is what it looked like before Israel, and this is what it looks like after Israel.
Is this all of Gaza or just a portion?
All of Gaza is like this now. They did this in the north first, and then they slowly moved to the center, and then they moved into the south. Now, you ask an interesting question, because there was a red line. Rafah is the southernmost point of the Gaza Strip. Rafah has a direct entry point into Egypt. Egypt is a separate country, right? But remember, I told you Egypt is a client state of the United States of America. So basically, what happened is Biden was like, well, you told everybody to fucking leave northern Gaza and go to southern Gaza to Rafah. That's supposed to be a safe zone. So Biden accidentally said something very important. He said, my red line is an invasion of Rafah. Do not invade Rafah. That's my red line. And at the time, Biden was actually also like, he had stopped one of the countless amounts of weapons that they were sending to Israel. One, Israel was very mad about that. They were like, how dare you fucking do that? Here is Biden's red line after Israel, of course, immediately violated that red line and invaded Rafah. We lied. We kept saying to the American public, they're not invading Rafah. It's a special military campaign. This is what Rafah looks like before. This is what Rafah looks like now.
They leveled it.
Yup.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And Biden said that was the red line.
That was the red line, but he never enforced it. They never enforced it at all. Of course. Why would they enforce it? And throughout this entire 12-month process, which is now nearing his 12th month, it's officially about to be a year.
Yep.
In a couple weeks, Biden kept saying, we're tirelessly working for a ceasefire. Tirelessly. Around the clock. There's Israeli hostages inside of Gaza. Israel is killing them because they keep bombing the fucking strip. And there's hostages under the fucking rubble. They're dying too. Israel's killing its own hostages. And throughout this entire process, they're like, we're just working tirelessly. We're so mad at Israel. Arr. But every time Biden says, don't do this, Israel does it anyway. And they do it flagrantly and they do it openly. And in the process, they also get one other assurance. America's never going to stop them. And America is actually going to keep giving them more weapons. Because America says, don't do this. Israel does it. America turns around and gives another $9 billion worth of weapons to Israel the next day.
That's
this
kind of
happened
embarrassing.
this past week. This happened this past week.
Yeah.
Literally.
Why don't we put our foot down? Is it because we really don't actually care?
This is the most complicated answer of the entire equation. Beyond what I just explained to you, it's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, enough is enough, right? It's really embarrassing for America. America's losing its soft power capabilities. America can't no longer dictate the rest of the world in the same way because they can always be like, oh, really? You think Russia is doing a bad job? Well, how about Israel? That's what many people are saying already, right? People that are aligned with Russia. Make no mistake, what Russia is doing is also unjustifiable. They're doing America shit in Ukraine. But the problem is when you can't rein in your attack dog.
Yep, dog's off the leash.
Then when your dog is off the leash and you just keep giving your attack dog more meat to fucking grab onto, ultimately, people are going to look at that and go, well, I don't know if I believe you, man. I don't know if I believe that you want to be the fucking, you are ready to be the world police. It seems like you are not. You're weak. You're a bitch. And that is true. That is precisely what's going on. America is getting weaker on the global stage. China is actually doing a fantastic job with soft power initiatives, doing global trade. It's a really important trade partner of the United States of America as well. And as that's happening, more and more countries are going, okay, well, I mean, I don't know about these Chinese guys, but like, at least they didn't enslave my people. Like, African nations are like, well, we got on the one side, we got countries that have historically enslaved us, countries that still control our banking, like France and England, and countries that have enforced like rigorous and rigid austerity measures by giving us some loans from the World Bank and IMF, and then immediately implementing ridiculous austerity measures so we can't even fucking fix our country. You're keeping us poor. China, on the other hand, is like, we got money. I'll give it to you. And I'll even let go of the loans that I'm giving to you. You want to build a port? Let's go. Let's build a fucking port. You want to build railroads? I'm fucking down. And in that process, these countries are like, okay, well, I'm going to go fucking work with China. America sees that. They don't like it, but they're losing their grip of power around the planet. So they are desperately clinging on to whatever fucking ally they have in the region, Israel.
How does China feel about this whole Israel-Gaza stuff? Do they make any statements about it?
I mean, they keep saying Israel should stop killing Palestinians or whatever, but overall, China also deals with Israel. China gets fucking surveillance technology from Israel. Israel has what is known as the Pegasus system. It is the most technologically advanced surveillance mechanism known to man. It's so good that the American government actually said, Israel, you can't do that. Why? Because it can break into anyone's phone. Anyone's phone.
This is real? This is a movie?
Yeah. No, this is real. This is not a movie. As a matter of fact, it may or may not have played a formative role in a lesser known chapter of our lives in America, where MBS and our boss Jeffrey Jebediah Bezos had a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a beef, as a matter of fact. Jeffrey Bezos buys the Washington Post. There's a Washington Post journalist who is, you know, kind of an American security state asset. His name is Jamal Khashoggi. Jamal Khashoggi is constantly shitting on MBS, constantly shitting on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia says, hey, you should come to the fucking consulate. He comes in the consulate in Istanbul, in Turkey. They chop him up. They put him in a fucking,
I know about
they put him
this.
in a barrel. Jeff Bezos is like, what the fuck? Yo, that's not cool. Why the fuck did you do that? That's one of my journalists. Yo, that's fucked up. Anyway, comes out that Jeff Bezos is cheating on his wife. How do we find out? Well, MBS may or may not have literally fucking hacked his phone directly.
They can do it from anywhere?
Yeah, they hacked his phone and they leaked his shit. And anyway, Jeff Bezos, obviously being such a powerful person, basically packed it up. But at the time, America was like, yo, this fucking technology is crazy. It is way too fucking, you know, it is way too invasive. You can't have that, Israel. And then they were like, but also we can have it, right? Please give it to us.
Did we get it?
Yeah, we use it too. Everybody uses it. A lot of governments
Wait, so my
use
phone's
it.
not safe?
I mean, if they, I think they have to like get you to click on a link or some shit. But yeah. So anyway, but it never really was. Yeah.
Moon, I'm coming, buddy. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, it hacks iPhones too, and iPhones were supposed to be very secure, obviously.
That was a joke.
So, I work in cybersecurity. They have no click RCEs, which means they can do it from anywhere. I know one where a message gets sent to you and they get full control without clicking a link. Okay, I didn't know that. So the original exploit was a no click. No, it requires no user interaction. I didn't know that it was 0 click. Okay. So anyway, why was I talking about this? Because China also, you know, has some contracts with Israel, right? But for China, they are kicking back and fucking enjoying the show because America's influence around the globe is waiting. Everyone is looking at America and be like, you're doing fucking insane genocide. What the fuck? Stop it. Stop it now. And they're like, oh, we want to stop it. And then Israel's like, fuck you, America. I will do whatever the fuck I want. So that makes America look weak. So if you're China and you're you know, kicking back and just doing trade,
Let the fire continue.
and yeah, why would you fucking put out that fire? You don't have to do anything. So that's basically the Chinese position at this point.
I got another question.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in our government that's like actually trying to do the right thing?
No. No government's trying to do the right thing. No. What do we? No, of course not.
Not one person?
No, I think like even in terms of like China just cares about China. You know what I mean? They don't care about anybody else. They have no like ideological vested interest in like defending the global south or whatever. The only reason why they're doing soft power initiatives and doing the Belt and Road initiative in general is because they want to create new markets so they can fucking keep funneling more Chinese manufactured goods into. Because like the rest of the world needs to develop so that they can sell more product to the rest of the world. It's a good thing overall for them. So that's part of the reason why they're doing that. They're developing these places because they're like, we don't care. We don't have to just sell to America. We'd sell to you too. But in order for them to actually, purchase these goods, they need to develop to a certain degree. I think Hasan misunderstood. Wait, what was your question?
I'm just wondering if there's anyone in our government that's like,
Oh, there are some
Like, hey,
people.
stop,
I mean, there's Rashida Tlaib. Rashida Tlaib is literally Palestinian, but our government censured her for saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. They censured her. They used
wait, what word are you using?
censure. It's like censoring. They told her to shut the fuck up. They punished her aesthetically.
Oh.
Because she said from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. An emancipatory slogan. It's like saying Black Lives Matter. And then someone going, actually, that means you want to kill all white people. And we've all collectively decided as a society that that's what that means. And if you say that, that's what you mean, actually. Fuck you, you piece of shit. You're actually censured now. That's precisely what happened.
Oh.
There are some that are good.
I got a dumb question.
What?
So you know how you're saying back in the day, like, you know, everyone was like, hey, Jews, you go to this Israel place and, start over.
Start over.
Whatever. Is there any way, like, now we can take people from Gaza and put them in a different area?
Well, that's what Israel wants to do. That's called ethnic displacement.
Didn't that already happen to
It's
them
also
once?
genocide. It is how Palestinians were originally kicked out of their homes.
But isn't that better
Kind
than
of a-
getting like just
Kind of a big no-no.
getting murdered?
Well, I think the best outcome would be for them to be able to live and coexist.
Obviously,
So that's what they're trying to do. That's what we're trying to achieve.
build a better place. Like,
You know, because Israel is
I
not
don't
an
know.
unstoppable force. It's not fucking a natural disaster. It's not a fucking hurricane. It's human beings that are like clicking a button to fucking, you know, execute these people. So obviously, that would basically be like giving
Where?
in
I
to
don't
Nazi
know.
Germany in that situation. You know what I mean?
but didn't it already happen once?
What do you mean?
Didn't it happen once that like people were moved?
Yeah,
From-
they were moved into Lebanon, Jordan, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip, and now look what Israel's doing in those places.
I don't know. It seems like just from what I've heard, like Israel's just not going to stop pounding these people.
Yeah.
So if they don't listen to what we're saying, surely something has to change. I don't know.
You're not wrong. Obviously, like Israel's ultimate goal is to basically fucking get all the Palestinians in Gaza Strip and everywhere else to just like move further and further away from Israel. And then they use that as a precedent to be like, well, they're over there and they're scary Palestinian guys. They always want to do terror to us. We got to take over that territory again. That's usually how they do it.
so
That's
you're
how they
saying-
did it in
you're
Lebanon too.
saying if they moved out, they would continue to persecute them?
I mean, they have continued to persecute them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you're a Palestinian citizen, you can't fucking enter Israel proper. If you're a Palestinian citizen that goes in the West Bank, you still literally are under a rigid apartheid regime where like you have to go through numerous checkpoints. They can fucking literally kill you. Israel killed an American citizen activist like 3 weeks ago. Her name was Aisha Ezgi from Seattle. She flew into the West Bank, which is supposed to be internationally recognized
Yeah.
Palestinian territory, but Israel is currently occupying it militarily in an illegal manner. She was at a protest. An Israeli sniper just fucking domed her, killed her, shot her in the
One
fucking
shot?
head. One shot. Yeah. The American government said nothing. They said, we'll investigate. We'll let Israel investigate. And then they said, ooh, this is really bad. Nothing. Oh, 2 weeks prior to that, they shot another American citizen from New Jersey this time. They shot him in the fucking leg. He survived, luckily. Nothing.
Why'd they shoot him?
Because they can. Like, there's no other reason.
I'm not going
They
to lie.
probably, in their minds, they probably
Yeah.
thought he was Palestinian.
To be fair, it sounds like a place where maybe we shouldn't go. Just to be honest.
I think these are incredibly brave people that
Yeah.
are,
More braver than me. I'm staying here.
yeah, these are
I probably shouldn't even be on this stream, to be honest.
these are incredibly brave people.
More
Yeah.
brave than me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like to sit in my car and eat chicken.
Yeah, Israel also. Oh, good luck explaining this. This is too much. This is too brain breaking.
What is that? Is it a TV show?
Oh, how do I describe?
Wait, have you ever been to
this?
Israel?
Fuck no. You kidding me?
Wait, do you think they know who you are?
I don't know.
Let's hope
I'm
not.
not willing to find out. Anyway. This is Mayor Ben Shitrit. Okay? That's his name. Israel has a concentration camp, many concentration camps, but one specifically called Side Teiman. This is a concentration camp where Israel goes into Gaza and fucking packs up all these people, undresses them, literally makes them sit around in their underwears and say, these are all the terrorists, la la la. Then we find out they're like fucking nurses and doctors and shit, but it doesn't matter. It's besides the point. They pack them up, they put them inside, they put them on trucks, they fucking hog tie them, okay? And they ship them to this concentration camp where they torture them, okay?
Hold on.
Relentless.
Israel's doing this?
Israel's doing this, yes.
The Jews.
Well, Israel's doing it. It's not the Jews
Well,
doing
Jewish
it.
people, right?
No, it's not. It's
They're not.
This. So one thing you have to understand is that
a
like
difference?
there
Enlighten
is
me, because
a
I'm just
major
asking.
difference because like what Saudi Arabia does is not about Islam. You know, it's not like ISIS is doing what they're doing for Islam. You know what I mean? I'm
Okay.
Muslim. I don't fuck with those guys. I don't fuck with either of those guys. You know what I mean?
But isn't Zionism? I'm so confused.
It's understandable that you're confused in this circumstance because like
So Israel's
both
not Jewish.
the Nazis who hate Israel or love Israel, doesn't matter, that believe that Israel must exist or believe that Israel must go away and that Jews control the media or whatever, like both the Nazis
And Kanye.
and also Israel and Kanye, and also Israel itself claims that Israel is doing this for Judaism. And that if you criticize Israel, like I'm doing right now, I'm an anti-Semitic person. So because of that reason, a lot of people like yourself get confused. You're like, what the fuck? So the Jews are doing this? No. These people are not doing this for Judaism. Yeah, obviously, yes, the military is by and large Jewish. There's some Druze people, there's some Arabs, whatever. But like, they're not doing this for Judaism.
So but they're using it as a veil.
They're using that as a defense mechanism. They're using that as a defense mechanism in the West to propagandize their position, to be like, no, you don't understand. We're doing this for Judaism. All Jews care about this. They only care about this.
Got it.
Except for the Jews that are anti-Zionist. Many of them are in this community. They call them anti-Semitic and call them terrorists. But that's besides the point. They're doing this for, they're doing this for...
Bro, this is like multi-layered and extremely complicated, and I'm kind of scared.
It's actually not. It's very black and white when you think about it. But like, obviously, I'm trying to give you as
confused.
I'm trying to give you as much information as possible on the back end so that you at least are
a little bit... Kanye was wrong then.
Kanye is still wrong, yes. He loves Hitler, he said. That's fucking insane.
He said that?
Yeah, he did. He said he loves Adolf Hitler, straight up. So...
Why would he say that?
Because he was in the throes of like a fucking manic... he's bipolar, bro.
I bet you...
What?
I bet you... Kanye takes a lot of amphetamines and it burned his brain out.
Probably. If I explain to this man Israeli's cum extraction brigade, his mind will explode. Israel has a unit.
What did you just say?
Israel has a unit that harvests the sperm of the soldiers in case of their untimely demise. This is called the Goon Platoon. That's what I like to call them.
Dude, what is going on?
It seems weird, right? This is what happens when you, much like the Nazis, in an identical capacity, have this insane religious and ethnic superiority complex and want to build an ethno-state. This is the type of weird shit that you engage in. It's called eugenics.
I know about that. Wait, so what about their sperm? They take the sperm from the sack when they die?
She thinks it's just another rocket attack.
I repeat, this is not a joke. This is the Israeli state itself posted this video.
But a gripping fear prickles through Shiley's entire body, and it's outside their bedroom window. Her husband, Yahav, fights the danger as Shiley runs, leaving everything behind to protect their baby, Shaya. She hides from the terrorists hunting her for 27 hours, terrified, praying that the love of her life will survive. She clings to hope that she won't need to raise their newborn alone. 4 days later, her heart shatters. She hugs Shaya tightly and knows she must fulfill Yahav's dream to create more life. So Shiley puts out a call for the unthinkable, to retrieve his seed and be able to continue growing their family. She's in her own war against time, and the crowd leaps into action to complete her desperate mission. But it's too late. Shiley did everything she could to save her family. We still have time to save ours.
Yeah. So
I don't understand.
Cum extraction. They shove a cattle prod up the butt of the deceased, or I guess they take it directly from the ball sack if they have the opportunity to do so. They have limited time.
Of like a dead soldier?
Yeah.
So
don't ask me why they don't just nut in a fucking cup beforehand. I don't know why they don't just do that. I feel like that's a way more efficient process if you really, really, really need to ensure that you're.
And Israel put this on the internet?
Yeah.
And they thought this was okay?
Yeah, and they did it in English. When Israel does propaganda in English, know that it's actually intended for the American and the Western audience.
Why would this make them look good?
They're insane, dog. That's it.
Okay.
It's the same shit as Nazis. Like, they were insane and they did a lot of insane shit. And when you look at it in hindsight, you're like, why the fuck did they think this was appropriate? I don't know. Like, Hitler literally was like looking to find, I don't know, Santa Claus or some shit. Why was he doing that? You know, they were trying to do like excavations to find like mythical swords that would help them. Why? Because they're insane.
Oh my God. And they have power and they're crazy.
Yeah. That's why I always explain it as like, imagine if like, in a parallel universe, like what would have happened if America went to war alongside the Nazis instead of against the Nazis? Well, you don't need to imagine what it would look like. This is happening right now. Now, of course, if you are to ever use that comparison or that analogy, people will call you out and they will say you're anti-Semitic. So if you don't have all this information,
What anti-Semitic means what exactly?
it means you hate Jews.
But you just said it wasn't about the Jews.
It doesn't matter. Most people still will, out in the wild, most people still operate on the boundaries of like, oh no, Israel's the Jewish state. Of course, they're doing this for the Jews, and all Jews actually care about Israel, yada, yada, yada. That's not the case, but that's how propaganda works. A lot of people still think that this is like the way it works. So for that reason, I'm just letting you know, they will call you anti-Semitic. You shouldn't fucking say a lot of the things I'm saying.
Keep in mind.
Unless you know all of the information
I'm not going
to
to
be
repeat
able to
what you're
back up.
saying because I'm so fucking confused because I don't know what's going on. But number two, I don't really give a fuck of what people say about me in general because I just don't care. Like, listen, I do things that you probably don't like.
Yeah.
Like we took that fucking Saudi deal.
You did?
Oh yeah, me and XUC both.
Oh, no. Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. I needed the money.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical?
Sure.
These were the people that the Saudis were killing, by the way, just so you know. These fucking musically gifted individuals.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I need the money, guys.
I'm going to grab my food.
I'm so confused. What is this?
اسأل أصحاب الفخامة والمعالي واسألوا عن الحشود العسكرية يوم سيطرنا على الخوبة بآلي ما نبالي بالهمر والمدفعية
This is a 3-minute video of. What do you mean a music video? When you said music video, I'm expecting like bad example, Chris Brown dancing. You know?
No. They do like
What is
they do
this?
musicals. They're very musical people.
Are
No,
you being serious?
Dog, what do you look? You think I made
This isn't music. I know they're singing, but I'm seeing just guns and shoot. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
No, it is. They do musicals about like their fucking like their actions all the time. And they love walking over. They love walking over like the American flag and the Israeli flag side by side. They will always like march on it. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
وافتحها من الدود في ساعة انقلالي ومسكنا لحد مسكح حيدرية ما نبالي بالصواريخ خلف
He's
دقالي
saying they do not care about the heavy missiles. Like they will literally take the war to them no matter what. It's an act of for them it's an act of resistance. You know what I mean?
You know what? I also took a McDonald's sponsor and I drink Starbucks. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
Good job.
I'm sorry, Hasan.
Are you proud of yourself?
I scabbed too.
What? Okay, stop.
I'm sorry, Hasan.
Stop.
And I like feet. But I'm a nice guy though.
That's the least consequential part of this. You liking feet is the most normal thing that you've said so far.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
You're not sorry.
I'm
You
not.
don't give a shit.
You want? Wait,
But you're more knowledgeable now. You are now equipped with the knowledge that this is
Can I be
wrong.
honest for a second?
What?
I'm afraid of having to get a 9 to 5. I got to make as much money as I can. I won't exist in the 9 to 5 world. I get canceled or like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I'm
Nick,
sorry.
Israel defends themselves by saying and making Americans repeat that if you hate Israel, you're anti-Semitic, which is to scare anti-Israel people like you and me, not to say anything bad about Israel under the veil, that if you hate Israel, you hate the Jews.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Well, it takes a lot of effort to hate though,
I agree.
Yeah. Man, there's
some people it comes easy though,
Really?
Yeah. Some countries make it easy, to be honest.
I'm just so busy that like I don't really have time to be like
Yeah, too busy fucking getting McDonald's sponsorships.
Yeah.
Oh God, we haven't even talked about the rape riots yet.
Pardon? The what?
So Israel has a concentration camp called Sde Taiman.
Yes, you
they're
told me about it.
apprehending. They're mass apprehending Palestinians and putting them there, and then like releasing them back into Gaza after 2 weeks of like torturing them. we find out in those concentration camps that they're raping them. Some of them are getting raped to death. They're literally raping them with like electric pods and batons and raping them to death. And these are innocent people. These are innocent Palestinians, but they're calling them terrorists. Everyone, if you call someone a terrorist, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them in the eyes of Israel, right? So what ends up happening is, because there is an ICC court case on Israel for war crimes, basically there is a principle called complementarity. What complementarity means is that if the country is a democratic Western-backed nation, they have their own internal processes where they look through the war crimes and they actually prosecute them. So no other outside group has to prosecute for them, right? That's why, like, remember what we did with the fucking aid ship or the aid port that never worked? Like, it's the similar principle of like, oh, well, we're prosecuting ourselves. Don't prosecute us, please.
Right.
You know, we're investigating ourselves. We're a nation of laws. That's what Israel says. So, basically, the Israeli government takes 9 of these concentration camp guards and says, you guys are the head rapists. You've done too many rapes. You've killed too many people by raping them. We have to prosecute you.
Was it 9 random guards?
I don't think it was 9 random guards. I think they were like literally on camera doing the raping. There was footage of it. So
why was it recorded? That's crazy.
There's cameras everywhere. It's a concentration camp. So basically, what ends up happening...
Wait, did you see the footage?
I saw some parts of the...
Was it blurred out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, they have to do an internal investigation. Otherwise, they're going to be like... otherwise, people can be like, well, you're not even investigating this shit. The fuck? Boom. Another war crime on the docket, right? So, Israel arrests these 9 guys. They detain them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Israeli society gets very mad. They're like, how dare you detain these guys? Israel, the Knesset, which is the like their parliament, right? That's called Knesset, is actually out on holiday, right? Summer holiday. They hold an emergency meeting specifically on the fate of these 9 detained concentration camp guards.